Well, hello everybody. Thank you all for joining. I'm 2 hours late. Apologies to everybody in Europe. Hi to Chaotic Coder, Irrational, Piper, Sean Donnelly, TNT Tesla, K8. Thank you all for coming. I look like I may have sound. It's not the usual setup here. Yeah, okay, we got everything working. This is the week recap, news you missed, some fun stuff. Bitcoin is like a stable coin bouncing at 84k, nothing really happening. The question that I'll try to answer today is, are we going to 92,000 or to 75,000? Now, we have a very bullish indicator, which is retail are selling Bitcoin because they always pick the wrong time to sell. We'll get into that too. We'll look at some stocks that are surging and new sectors that are surging. And we had a very big recovery late last week. We'll talk about Brazil and Bolivia going crypto. Shout out to everybody in Spanish-speaking countries and Portuguese-speaking countries. And the Solana vote fails. People have asked me to touch on that as well. Thank you, Mr. Mike. Hope you have a Guinness this weekend, and Santos Saints and everybody else, David Webb, etc. We'll also talk about stuff with Mars, crazy news and robots, and some other tech tweaks as well. So I'll go pretty fast. Thank you all. Sorry for being late. But and this is not financial advice. And thank you to everybody on Patreon. Solbull, you rock, man. You've been a long-term person. Now, this week, you cannot, literally, you cannot make this up. I've never ever seen this. A week ago, I did this recap at the exact same time, and the price of Bitcoin was the exact same, 84,500. Over the last 7 days, the Bitcoin price has moved down by 0.01%. ETH up a little bit, 1%. Cardano up a little, 1%. Sol down a bit, 2%, etc. Everything has been super, super stable. Let's talk about the Bitcoin black hole. Not so much. It still kind of sucks, but the selling by the ETFs has fallen quite a bit, which is good to see. We had 2 positive days last week, but very small amounts, or in the last 7 days or so. But the bleed is stemming, and hopefully it'll start to return. Let's get into the direction for Bitcoin, because that's what we all really care about. A little bit of Bitcoin TA, and shout out to Axel as well. Axel believes Bitcoin support is holding at around 83,800 per the chart here, which coincidentally is confluent with max pain on the option side of the house. And a lot of times price gravitates towards the max pain level. Now, typically, when reading this chart, you can see if the market continues to hold this level, the next stage is the upside target, which would not be 92,000. It's amazing. We had $108,000 Bitcoin, but we'd be so happy to see 92,000 again after being in this kind of chop solidation level. A lot of fear about the global economy, a lot of fear about tariffs, a lot of uncertainty and doubt, and here we are. Now, in case of a decline, there could be a dip to 76k. But we have already been down at 77.5, 78k, so that should come as no surprise. But I think odds are more likely that we go up from here. Hola, oi, tá bom? Everybody in Brazil. I was just chatting with a friend of mine from Brazil a minute ago. Now, retail. This is another interesting chart. So we've looked at the chart that shows us support. Now, this is kind of fun because historically, this is bizarre. And please, if you're a retail investor, don't do this. But retail is capitulating right now. They are selling. And when retail capitulates, typically that right afterwards is when Bitcoin goes ballistic, i.e. it goes up. And now the retail Bitcoin holders, those are with Bitcoin balances under one whole Bitcoin. One of the reasons I've always spoken about whole coinership and how important that is. But they are selling their coins, and this mirrors the capitulation pattern seen in late 2020. And today this group holds 35% more Bitcoin than it did in 2020. It's about 1.75 million Bitcoin. Now, we'll see what happens, but they're breaking, they are capitulating, they are selling. Not a lot. It's like, what's that, 70,000 Bitcoin. But last time they did this, Bitcoin went on a rampage. Let's hope it happens again. In fact, last time Bitcoin went from about 10,000 straight up to 67,000. Anyway, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Now, crypto is not dead. In fact, Brazil now use crypto for BRICS trade. They propose to use crypto for BRICS trading. And BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, etc., Saudi Arabia, all these nations. And the number of BRICS nations now is insane. It is way over 50 countries. And when you combine the combined GDP of all of these BRICS nations, it's far larger than the Western world. So BRICS is not to be sniffed at. And Brazil will plan to use this for trade. And it's not just Brazil. We have Bolivia are now using Bitcoin to trade oil. The state-backed energy firms are now using this to pay for oil imports. Now, one of the things, if you know this channel and you know me, one of my dreams back in 2021, 2022 was for, instead of the petrodollar, we get a petro-Bitcoin, where all trade for oil globally would happen in Bitcoin. Now we're seeing the first signs of that at last. And remember, risk happens fast. Things start slowly and then they move very fast. So fingers crossed. In other crypto adoption news too this week, Bank of New York Mellon, the oldest US bank, and a crypto custody partner will allow select clients to send and receive money for transactions using Circle's USDC. And this is really great for stablecoin adoption. Stablecoins probably the top use case for crypto in my mind. Number two is probably DEXs, etc. But this is great. TradFi, oldest TradFi firm embracing stablecoins, and the US government will as well. Now, a lot of you are extremely disappointed and concerned, and I was watching the vote for the SIMD 8202, whatever it was called, but that did not pass. And I had a feeling, because it got off to such a raging start, but it was clear that some of the big players like the Coinbase, etc., hadn't voted yet. Now, the Sol inflation reduction proposal was supposed to reduce Solana inflation down to 0.86%. Bitcoin is at 0.85%, super hard. That would have made Solana very hard. It would have been like a dream come true to have this in combination with the ETF launching in 2025, which will happen as well. But Toly wrote a nice little piece here, really just to kind of wrap it all up after it failed. And he talks about keep it simple, stupid. And the idea here is about making small, smart tweaks to a technology system like a blockchain with, say, over thousands of validators or thousands of servers or boxes. And instead of redesigning from scratch, he gave this example here. Basically, it costs $20 million to run a typical validator. It's about $5,000 per box plus $15,000 of overhead. And the system uses about 365,000 Sol as a resource to fuel all that annually. And with inflation, adding 570,000 Sol yearly. Now, the simple fix that Toly recommends is to boost capacity, e.g. jack it up to 100 million units, cut the operator fees in half, speed up inflation reduction to 30% per year, lowering the Sol needed to about 380,000, or about 0.6% to 1.2% of inflation. And this would also double capacity to 200 million and cut costs more, setting inflation at 1.5%. Solana inflation will ultimately get to 1.5%. Now it's about 4.46% last time I checked in our system. But the whole focus is to make the system cheaper, faster, and more efficient as engineers increase their workload, aligning everyone without overcomplicating things. So Toly, I think he was pro the inflation reduction, but after some analysis, that's kind of his take. I hope I construed it correctly. Now let's talk about stocks real fast, everybody. Stocks came raging back. Like literally, we had a brutal week. Things like MicroStrategy went below 250, and then in one day shot up to basically $298, nearly back at 300. It was crazy. A lot of good things happened. Everything was pretty much green. Everything across the board. And again, risk happens fast. So we didn't die. It was dark and painful for a few days, but then money flows back in. So who the hell is buying out there, ladies and gentlemen? Hedge funds. This is from Zero Hedge, talking about hedge funds. Hedge funds are absolutely piling into US stocks late this week. They saw the value. And the other thing is they were dumping Europe during the melt-up. This is from Goldman Sachs. So again, US stocks are back in vogue. They were so cheap. So when you see the hedge funds come in, they don't move that fast. But when they move with size, and they don't move in to move out again. So I think the bottom is in for the stock market. We head north from here. Fingers crossed, we shall see. Let's talk a little bit about Tesla news too. Sadly, the Tesla competition have gotten cancelled. The new Model 3 is $34,000. An inferior car, the i4 BMW eDrive, is nearly twice the price. And the Polestar got cancelled. So the Tesla, as Nick here says, the Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive is in a league of its own. The cars drive themselves, and they are better, cheaper, faster, etc., more efficient to run than any other vehicle out there. And it's only just beginning, and the new Model Y is coming. And people are kind of sad about the new Model Y because when you compare it to the old Model Y, it's night and day. And the old Model Y is the best-selling car on the planet. So that's the Tesla news. Quantum stocks. Shout out to Sanjay and Shay. Quantum stocks are taking off today. I haven't analyzed a D-Wave or Rigetti or Quantum Corp or Ionic, but if people are interested, let me know. I'll have a look. But I'd imagine that many of these companies lose money and have a very uncertain future. So I tend to prefer things that have less risk. And sometimes these are kind of fly-by-night, flash-in-the-pan type opportunities. But boy, did they have a brilliant week last week. The D-Wave up 43.5%. Rigetti up nearly 30%. Sounds like spaghetti. Quantum 26%. And Ionic 16.85%. I did look at Ionic, I think, a few months ago in a Sunday Q&A question, and I wasn't impressed. But anyway, it might be worth another look. We'll see if these things have perpetual legs. Hey, Dirk, good to see you. Now, this is other news that just happened this week too, which I found quite profound. Didn't mean for that to rhyme. Starship will leave for Mars next year, and Starship from SpaceX will be carrying Optimus robots. Tesla have been very quiet about their Optimus robot lately, which tells me they are building stuff, but they don't want others to know about what they are building. But they're definitely making a lot of progress. And in fact, celebrities are also making progress with Optimus. Optimus here is assisting a celebrity on a photo shoot and resting by the beach and other good stuff too. And this is funny. And this person is not paid to do this. And they have 360 million followers. So the question is, everybody, drop a comment below. Who wants an Optimus robot? I think we all do. I think we want a number of them. We want a security guard. We want a dishwasher. We want a gardener. We want somebody to walk the dog when we're busy, feed the fish, whatever. Anyway, it's a crazy future. And people think it's 20 years away. It's not. It's coming in a matter of months. Whether that's 18 months or 12 months or 24 months, it's coming, and it's for sure. And speaking of Starlink in space, shout out to Sawyer Merritt. The Royal Navy is planning to trial Elon Musk's Starlink on the flagship aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales. I've got a friend of mine, he's a captain on one of the US aircraft carriers, and they have Starlink. And it's amazing how it improves the life of the people on board the ship. Anyway, Starlink is also coming to all your flights, so you can have full high-speed internet like you're at home. So if you want to do your Zoom call on the plane, oh my God, that would make flying even more unbearable. One of the great things about flying used to be you were in isolation, nobody could reach you. Those days sadly are over. Anyway, thank you all for coming, everybody. Thank you, Sean Donnelly, Team D Tesla K8. Sorry for being late. That was the story. I'll see you all tomorrow, and I'll show my face tomorrow. I've been so tied up with stuff. I haven't been able to do anything. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.